everyone, welcome back to Learn with Nowrin. Today we're going to discuss about the character analysis of Francis Scott Fitzgerald's one of the greatest novel, The Great Gatsby. So let's get started with the lesson. The Great Gatsby is a 1925 novel written by American author Francis Scott Fitzgerald that follows a cast of characters living in the fictional towns of West Egg and East Egg on prosperous Long Island in the summer of 1922. Many literary critics consider The Great Gatsby to be one of the greatest novels ever written in the 1920s. So first of all, we find Jay Gatsby. Jay Gatsby is the protagonist and the title character of Fitzgerald's novel The Great Gatsby. He appears to be the embodiment of the American dream at the novel's opening. The self-made man is depicted as a wealthy, charismatic businessman who has built himself a lavish lifestyle in post-war America. Gatsby is a millionaire and the owner of a luxurious mansion where he often hosts extravagant parties. And Nick Carraway, the novel's narrator, describes him as having an extraordinary gift for hope. From the outset, Gatsby is mysterious and elusive, and there are numerous stories about where he came from and how he achieved his wealth. Actually, Gatsby was born as James Gatz, the son of a poor farming family from North Dakota. The Jay Gatsby of West Egg is an invention of the young James Gatz, who wanted a different, sophisticated life for himself. Gatsby keeps his origins a secret and presents to the public only what he wants them to know. Gatsby orders his life around only one desire, that is to be reunited with Daisy Buchanan, the love he lost 5 years earlier. As a result, his entire focus is building his wealth, power, and prestige, all in attempt to make himself worthy of Daisy, the woman he had fallen in love with before the war. The rumors about the source of his wealth is partially true. He acquired his money through illegal activities such as gambling and bootlegging alcohol. Gatsby's dream, like the identity he created, are hollow and eventually lead to his downfall. And we see that Gatsby's quest for the American dream eventually leads him to his death. Next comes Nick Carraway. Nick is the novel's narrator. He is a bright, insightful young man who has recently returned from duty in the First World War. He rents the small house next to Gatsby's mansion in West Egg. Despite raised in the Midwest, Nick has to move to New York to do bond business. Over the course of events, he becomes a friend to Gatsby and helps Gatsby to reunite with Daisy Buchanan, who is Nick's cousin. Nick is portrayed as an honest, fair, and impartial man who makes friends easily. Out of his disillusionment, he finds the East as an unsettling place, and eventually he is disgusted with the superficialities of the wealthy societies like the Buchanans. Sometimes he is also called as the voice of Fitzgerald himself. Nick's cousin, Daisy Faye Buchanan, is the central female character of the novel. She is the superficial, self-absorbed, flighty, and even foolish woman Gatsby is in love with. Beautiful and mesmerizing, Daisy is the apex of sociability. Her privileged upbringing in Louisville has conditioned her to a particular lifestyle which to her husband is able to provide with. She is the object of Gatsby's dream and desire. Daisy represents the wealthy women of 1920s who were referred to as flappers in dress, behavior, and thought. And we see that she enraptures man, especially Gatsby, with her defiant nature and sultry voice. Her final act, running from the responsibility of her car accident and running out of Gatsby's funeral, suggests that she is a risk taker and she is superficial, and she only takes risk if it does not risk her privileged life. Then we find Daisy's husband, Tom Buchanan, and he is a kind of hulking brute man. Tom is a boisterous, unruly, arrogant brute who comes from an old wealthy Chicago family and takes pride in his rough ways. He leads a life of luxury in East Egg, playing polo, riding horses, and driving fast cars. Tom is self-centered and controlling. He doesn't respect women at all, even sometimes abuse women, of including his wife Daisy and his mistress Myrtle Wilson. He is proud of his affairs, extramarital affairs, and has had many since his marriage. And during the novel, we find that he is engaged to Myrtle Wilson. And throughout the novel, Tom manipulates situations and people to hide his indiscretions. Pam Buchanan is the toddler daughter of Tom and Daisy Buchanan, and she is little mentioned is made of her, and she represents the children of judge age. She has very little parental contact, yet the reader is always vaguely aware of her presence. However, we see that her character is symbolic because she is the only visible token of Daisy's marriage with Tom, who works as a hindrance to Gatsby's dream to start everything afresh. Because of Pammy, Gatsby cannot easily erase the past 4 years from his life, that is, Daisy's life. Jordan Baker is Daisy's friend from girlhood and a wealthy professional golfer. Jordan is a young single woman who is admired by men wherever she goes, and we find that she felt offensive because at the first look, Nick didn't Nick didn't have any kind of affection towards her. That is why, and we see that she represents a particular class of women of 20th century. She becomes romantically involved with Nick. However, their relationship deteriorates when Nick discovers her dishonesty. Jordan ignores social conventions, speaks directly, and cheats to get what she wants. She is somehow shallow in her approach to life. Myrtle Wilson is the married mistress of Tom Buchanan. She lives in the Valley of Ashes with her husband George Wilson. The Valley of Ashes is a financial and social wasteland, we know, and from that we see that Myrtle Wilson always wants to escape for a better life. She dislikes her husband for being poor, and she believes that she is desirable to the wealthy man. As a result, she finds Tom Buchanan as her lover. Through her affairs to Tom, she gains entry into the world of elite. Myrtle Wilson represents lower class people, striving for the wealth, prestige, and lifestyle of the elite people. She eventually suffers a tragic death at the hand of Daisy, her lover's wife. George Wilson, husband of Myrtle Wilson, owns and operates Wilson's garage and gas station in the Valley of Ashes. He seems to be trapped by his position in life. In his dealings with the world, George is respectful and fair even with those who treat him poorly, like Tom Buchanan. Eventually, he discovers his wife's double life and her affair, and his response to it drives her to death. In the end, his heartbreak over Myrtle's death leads him to murder Gatsby in Tom's influence, and he ultimately we see that he commits suicide, and representing the tragic impact of greed and deceit. Here we find Mayor Olsham. He is Gatsby's business associate and linked to organized crime. He is a professional gambler, and we see that Mayor Olsham is attributed with fixing the 1990s World Series. Olsham helped build Gatsby's fortune, although the wealth came through questionable means. Some other minor characters are here. Catherine. Catherine is the sister of Myrtle Wilson, who is aware of her sister's secrets and willing to partake of its benefits. Ewing Clipsfinger is convivially known as Gatsby's boarder, and he is a quintessential leech, a representative of the people who frequented Gatsby's party. Dan Cody is the worldly mentor of Jay Gatsby. Cody took Gatsby under his wing when Gatsby was a young man and taught him much about living adventurously and pursuing his dreams. Henry C. Gatz is the father of Jay Gatsby. He comes from the Midwest to bury his son. Gatz served as a tangible reminder of Gatsby's humble heritage and roots. So that's all for today. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. If you have any question, you can ask me in the comment section. Thank you for watching this lesson. We will see you in the next lesson. Bye bye.